Well, hey there. Good evening, everybody. On this Monday, it is November the what, 3rd? Is it the 3rd? Oh, there it is. It's right there. Okay. Monday, November 3rd. Have to check my own graphics to make sure just what day it is. I knew it was Monday, but I'm like, what day is it? The 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 4th? But it's the 3rd. And welcome in to 270 weather for the 270 area code and beyond. And I'm Chris Allen. Thanks for tuning in on this Monday evening, just after 6 p.m. And this is actually happening at the same time it usually happens. It's just that our clocks have been set back 1 hour. But I'm here at the same time that I was yesterday and the day before and the day. But the clock said 7. Now it says 6. See, that's the difference. And that's why when you got up this morning and you got ready for school or went to work, you're like, sun's already up and it's only 6 a.m. Yeah, well, the sun didn't change. It's still at the same time, but the time on our clocks changed. Our clocks changed. But when things happen, still the same. Are you as confused as I am? Okay. So anyway, it's all this time change stuff. Yeah, I know. I'm hearing from a lot of people that they're just over it. But there's nothing I can do about it. They have to pass, a law, and that hasn't been passed. And so until that law is changed, nothing really happens with fall back or spring forward as it applies to daylight saving time. All right, let's check the numbers from today. And here we go. We're looking at some warmer temperatures. 62 was the high today, 2 degrees cooler than the normal of 64. And that normal high keeps going down. The low this morning, though, was 34. 34. Some of you got down into the upper 20s, according to the Kentucky Mesonet sensors, which I will show you in just a moment. And I will show you which locations got down into the upper 20s this morning. We had that thick fog. And we had even some instances of frozen fog. That's what happens when, fog is just moisture. It's just moisture just kind of laying around near the ground, little water pellets. And then if the temperatures are below freezing, those little water pellets, that water vapor, can freeze on like a bridge or an overpass. Usually that's what happens, your car, and it can put a nice little coating of ice on it. Well, I would say most likely there were places that saw that this morning. We're going to see some fog again tonight and early tomorrow, but maybe not as thick or as widespread as what we saw this morning, but I do think there will be fog once again in the morning. So be aware of that because it looks like it may happen once again. Let's take a look at the days ahead and what's happening with radar. Let me scoot this over so you can see it. There we go. Radar's all nice and clean and quiet. There's nothing happening out there. High pressure in control. So after the fog this morning, everything just kind of went away very quickly. We had scrubbed out the atmosphere and things looked pretty good. We had a lot of sunshine, and that helped us, along with a wind coming out of the west-southwest. It warmed us into the low 60s. Don't anticipate any rain or any precipitation anytime soon. Much of this week is going to remain dry. But I do want to show you something here that I think is of interest. And it's only because the rumor mill is going around that there's something coming this weekend. And somebody mentioned the S word, but I'm not there yet. Okay. Let's go to the model outlook. And I'm going to, first of all, use the GFS, the global forecast system. And it's showing, temperatures in the 50s right now. Well, later on this evening. Um, and then, getting back into the 30s, I think, is very possible this evening. But I don't want to look at this evening. I want to look at down the road. In particular, I want to look at Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So let's jump up to, let's say, 165 hours. Well, that puts us at 9 a.m. on Monday. 9 a.m. Monday. All right, let's go through time. This is Monday. Not today, next Monday. So here we go. 42 degrees, noontime, 3 p.m. on Monday, 42. Now, this is where you need to watch what's going to at least forecast. And I'm going to do a model comparison here. So you can see two models at the same time. Okay. In fact, I think I can split view. Let's see if I can do that. Not with this one. Oh, yeah, I can. Huh. Okay. So, well, that's not what I wanted. Let me turn that off. I was going to try to split the view, but anyway, that's too confusing. I need to play with this a little more before I do that. So again, we're looking at next Monday, the 10th, November the 10th. This is 6 p.m. Here we go to 9 p.m. next Monday night, temperature of 30. We go to midnight and the temperature drops to 28. That would be a hard freeze. Here we go into 3 a.m. on the 11th, which is Tuesday. 28 degrees. 26 degrees as of 6 a.m. next Tuesday morning. Then it starts to warm up after that. Okay, let's back up just a little. Let me flush this out. So we're looking at what? 25, 26 degrees, hour 186 on the GFS next Tuesday. Now I want to go to a different model. I'm going to go to the European. And we're going to go out to the same hour. And it's showing, let's go 12 a.m. This is the 10th. Monday, 6 a.m., 12 p.m., 6 p.m., 32, 28 by midnight next Tuesday, 25 by 6 a.m. next Tuesday morning. That's how cold it's going to get. Mid 20s. There are two models now picking up consistently on this. And here's the thing, if there's a wind, we might have wind chills in the teens next Tuesday. You're saying, what? Really? Yes. I'm not saying it is going to happen, but there's some model consistency here that we'll need to, see how it all, this is all long range stuff. A lot can change between now and then, but there is certainly a signal in the atmosphere that something cold, really cold, is coming for the beginning of next week. This week is going to be nice and toasty warm, but this is showing next week we could be in the freezer. But then the thing is that after that, we warm back up. Look at that. This is the 14th, November 14th, 70 degrees. So, don't think that it's going to get that cold and then we just stay there. It's gonna come back warm again. But it's something, it's something that's worth watching. So yeah, it's certainly something that we're going to have to pay close attention to. Now, is there moisture? That would be the next question. Is there moisture when it's that cold enough? There is some indication that there might be something. And of course, if it gets that cold, it would be frozen. But the thing is, the ground temperature is not cold enough for it to be any big deal. But as rumor has it, and the scuttlebutt that's out there, there could be maybe a snowflake, first snowflake of the fall season. Could happen one day next week, preferably Monday night or Tuesday, if everything pans out like we see it. Interesting, right? Okay. Well, let's move on now. And with it going to be that cold, you know what I'm going to say next about R&R controls. See, I've been telling you that it's going to get cold enough to where you're going to need your HVAC system and you're going to need it to work. So why not call R&R Controls and get something set up? Now we're back into the work week. We're back into the regular business hours, Monday through Friday. rnrhvac.com. They are there, plus the phone number, 270-777-2024. You need to call them or get on their website and get something penciled in, an appointment with R&R, whether it's your business or whether it's your home. Get them in there and let's get your HVAC looked at, because it's coming. Winter is coming. And when the temperatures get into the 20s, like I'm talking about next week, you're going to wish you had called R&R to check things out. And as it says there at the bottom of their graphic, book your checkout before the freeze. They know. They know these things because they've lived through it. They've been there. They know when there's just going to be some people that put things off until it's too late. Don't be one of those people. Call R&R Controls or go to their website, rnrhvac.com. Schedule you an appointment to have them come check your HVAC. Or call the number 270-777-2024. Because with R&R Controls, you'll never be without. All right. Let's move on now and go to the Kentucky Mesonet. And we'll check some of these numbers from today. See who got really, really cold. Here we go. 40s and 50s. These are current temperatures as of 6:17 p.m. on this Monday evening. We've got 47 at the Corvette plant, 50 at the Ag Expo Center, but it's a chilly 37 down in Burkesville, the Cumberland County Mesonet station, because it's next to the river, and it always reads colder than everybody else. So, how cold did it get this morning? Oh, look at here. There's a 29. I knew it was there. Hartford in Ohio County and Litchfield in Grayson County. You had a low today, this morning, of 29 degrees. Blah. Then you see 30s elsewhere, 40s even out to the east. And that's because when the lowest temperature of the day occurred this morning, there was still some fog and even cloud cover further south and east. And so that's why the temperatures there, like over in Wayne County, Monticello, Russell County, Pulaski County, were warmer in the 40s. High temperatures today made it into the upper 50s east to low 60s west. Of course, no precipitation, nothing out there today. Winds at the moment are mainly out of the south and southwest, but light. All right, let's move on now to forecast precipitation. Rainfall coming in for the next 7 days. Mostly is going to be Friday, Saturday, and maybe a little something Sunday night into Monday, but not very high confidence in that right now. But what's coming in Friday and Saturday, as you see here, the blue, the dark blue, and the light blue, has come up a little. We're talking about 3/4 to 1 inch of rain. And that would be primarily this coming Friday. Let's go to the maps, show you day by day what's going to occur. And let's just see what it shows. Here is the right now, Monday evening, November the 3rd. Got a couple of little fronts here. Not a big deal. These are very dry. Now, again, this was spot on last night when I showed you this map, especially what was coming out of the Nashville forecast office, how they painted in much of west and middle Tennessee in a thick fog. And it occurred. It happened. And now you see much of southern Kentucky, much of the 270 covered in fog by midnight and even early in the morning. When you get up again and get ready for work or school, there will be, I think, at least patchy fog. Maybe not as thick or as widespread as it was this morning, but it'll be there. Here we go, midday, 12 noon. Warmer air coming in from the south and west. High pressure to the east. 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. The winds start to pick up a little bit more, and it's the pressure difference between this high pressure to the east and this system that's dropping down out of Minnesota. So you can see here, tight lines, equal lines of pressure, tightly packed. There's a pressure difference between high pressure and that low pressure. Therefore, it's going to be breezy starting tomorrow night and into Wednesday. Oh, come on. Unable to load fronts. Load it anyway. Come on. There we go. Now, this is Wednesday morning. Wednesday's going to be a warm and breezy day, but dry. Here comes the front. This is the front that is going to slide through on Wednesday, but it's a dry front. There's nothing to support moisture this far south on Wednesday. So we're going to keep it dry. Thursday, high pressure builds back in after the front, and the front kind of slows down to the south a little bit in the Tennessee Valley. And because of that, it's going to wait on another piece of energy, a low pressure system, to move northward with a cold front and tap into some Gulf moisture. With that will come showers. And by Friday afternoon and Friday evening, I think we'll have thunderstorms. There will be enough warm air, lifting ahead of the system, a low-level jet that will be fairly active, and that's going to kick things up. That's going to kick the energy up with this system. But notice by Saturday, the rain is gone. Now, the front passes through, and we only cool down slightly from a high near 70 on Friday to the mid 60s on Saturday. But here comes another front, a clipper almost. That's a fast-moving, low-pressure system with a cold front that drops out of Canada. This one will have a shot of cold air behind it. This is Sunday morning. There could be some showers Sunday morning as the air turns colder with this next frontal boundary. Let's check Monday. Now, what this doesn't show is what happens between 6 a.m. Sunday and 6 a.m. Monday. But this is, look at this high. This is colder northwest winds coming in around the center of high pressure. Look at this mixture of precipitation in West Virginia. It doesn't show anything here, but I do believe something may come in wake of that system. It could just be a snowflake. And with the ground temperature being too warm, it would just melt on contact. So, you know how it is this time of the year. The rumor mill goes crazy. Somebody picks one particular model and puts it up on social media for clicks, likes, and shares, and they say, look at this. It could snow next Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. We could see the first flake. Well, we might, but it doesn't look all that promising, okay? So just don't get so caught up in it yet, okay? I'll let you know. I'll let you know when it's time to really consider this being anything that you need to pay attention to or impactful, if you will. I know it's not going to accumulate, but would it make an impact on the roads? Don't know. It's too soon. So don't just get on out of here with them rumors. We're not ones to go around spreading rumors. Remember that from Hee Haw? I know some of you do. Go back and look at some of those old Hee Haw, the Hee Haw honeys. They'd sit there, we're not one to go around spreading rumors, 'cause we're just not the gossipy kind. Yeah, but then they would go from that song to start to tell rumors about Grandpa Jones and Roy Clark and Buck Owens and everybody else. Oh, it was funny. It was hilarious. Good television. Hee haw. So rumors, yeah, they're out there, but let's take a look at some evidence. Right now, we don't have enough to go on. All we have are the numbers and maybe some moisture. But as you can see here, we're going to be warm the next few days. Temperatures will start to go above normal. Normal is 64. We're going to be running more 65, 66, 67, and even a couple of 70s, maybe a 71 in there for Wednesday and Friday. Those are the 2 days that a cold front will come through. But the first front on Wednesday will be a dry one. Therefore, nothing to really cool us down on the backside of it. Then the front coming through on Friday will have rain and thunderstorms, and it cools down after that. So a couple of shots of colder air, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, but look what happens after that. This is when it could get really cold. And here we go. This is Monday. And here's Tuesday. Look at that high of 48 with a low of 29. by next Tuesday morning, what I was showing you at the very beginning. But then we see some moderation. We get back into the 50s and close to 60 for the middle of next week. So, yeah, there may be something there, but we gotta give this time to, you know, flush it out and see what may be coming. It's not a guarantee. So if anybody is telling you that it is, look what I found. I found this model. I'm going to cut out and paste this one image of one computer model that shows that something's going to happen the beginning of next week. Just, even a broken clock can be right twice a day, right? My grandpa used to say that. And when he told me that, and he worked on clocks. My grandfather worked on clocks and watches. And I guess that's why I love them so much. I can't work on them like he did, but he would say, a clock, even a broken clock, is right 2 times a day. And I thought, well, if it's broken, how can it be? Oh, then it hit me as like a light bulb. It's just, and I got it. And I thought, there's some wisdom in that. So all these broken clocks that are out there posting stuff on social media, they're going to be right every once in a while. They're going to post something and then it happens. And then they'll go, hey, look at me. I'm so cool. Woo. Y'all got to like me. Clicks, likes, shares. I ain't got time for that. Don't care. But but I do care when I have to answer their questions. When they bring up something like that, and then I have people like you come to me and say, Chris, why aren't you talking about this? Chris, is this true? I appreciate that you come to me, hopefully a credible source, to answer the question, but sometimes it just gets irritating. This time of year, especially. You get the yahoos out there that just, anybody can get the same stuff that I just showed you. You dig around enough, you pay for it, whatever. Some get it for free, but others, you can still dig around and find this stuff and just put all these pieces of a puzzle together and go, okay, this is what's going to happen. It's almost like religion. You get different denominations taking the Bible and interpreting scripture so many different. Well, what this means is same thing. Same thing. That's why you have to do the research yourself, search it out yourself, and find out the answer yourself. Okay? So we'll see. But it is interesting that kind of a signal is coming here next week. A week from really tomorrow, next Tuesday. Cold. First real punch of cold air. All right. That'll do it for this Monday evening. I appreciate you watching as always. Have a great night. I will see you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. with probably more fog as you watch WNKY News 40 Sunrise at 6 a.m. and then an update at 9 and another one at noon. In the meantime, thank you for watching and God bless.